I've been married for about 2 years now. My husband earns a decent living, so I don't have to work. I provide him with comfort at home. On our wedding anniversary, my husband bought me an expensive and beautiful car. I didn't have one, so I immediately went to driving school to learn how to drive. From the very first lesson, the driving instructor started flirting with me. I should have been wary and stopped my lessons, but I didn't want to waste time and get my license as soon as possible. That was my first mistake. I didn't take his harassment seriously, because he was married and I was married. I turned him down, but he wouldn't give up. My husband went to his family for a couple of days, and I accidentally blabbed about it to the instructor. He took advantage of the moment and called me for an additional driving lesson. This is not a crime in itself, but the lesson lasted a very long time. It got dark, we were both very hungry, and the instructor took me to a restaurant. That was my second mistake. The third mistake was alcohol. The instructor persuaded me to have a drink, and I agreed. It would seem that drinking while driving is stupid, but I was inexperienced and didn't control my powers. A glass of brandy, a glass of liqueur, and then some delicious cocktail, and I got carried away. The instructor paid the bill, and I agreed to go home with him. On the way, I took a nap in the backseat, and when I woke up, he leaned on me and climbed between my legs. We were in some kind of forest belt, and there was no one to ask for help. I resisted, but the forces were unequal, the alcohol had not yet worn off, and I gave up. He undressed me, and everything happened. I was ashamed and very offended. The instructor took me home and apologized, saying that he had not restrained his passion. I cried all night, not knowing what to do. I couldn't tell my husband, he wouldn't forgive me for cheating. To contact the police about violence, maybe a reasonable person would have done so, but not me. I understood that the police would notify my husband, interrogations would begin, and this was unacceptable to me. I decided to forget this story and not drop out of driving school. I really wanted to get my license. I didn't think about intimacy with the instructor. I was sure that I would be able to control his threats of contacting the police. But he turned out to be more cunning. He immediately realized that I was afraid of fire, that my husband would find out, and demanded sex, threatening to tell him about the betrayal if I refused. And I, the fool, went on about it again. We slept together again. The next time, he blackmailed me with 2 cases of treason, then 3, then 4. The connection has been going on for more than 6 months. I give in, I'm wildly afraid that my husband will find out, and at the same time I understand that something needs to be done. We meet 2 or 3 times a week, make love right in the car or in hourly hotels. I fulfill all his whims, otherwise he will inform on my husband. During these 6 months, I got used to a lover. He treats me humanely. Blackmail has been replaced by some kind of emotional attachment, a possible victim of Stockholm Syndrome. In sex, my lover is cooler than my husband, but this is not the reason for our relationship. I love my husband, realizing that a lover is not worth his little finger. I feel crazy tenderness and think about leaving my husband for a lover, but he doesn't need it. He is happily married, has 2 children, and immediately said that I could not count on anything else. His marriage is solid, and he will never leave his wife. I don't understand what a lover wants from me. For example, he basically never protects himself, wants a child from me, but why? Because of this, I have to take oral contraceptives, so now I can't get pregnant from my husband, and we really want a baby. Contraceptives have knocked down my hormonal background. I'm not all right on the female line anymore. But my main problem is how not to be. Sometimes I dream that I kill my lover to save our family from blackmail. Yes, I'm thinking of leaving my husband. The latest news is that I got my license today. Driving lessons are not necessary, and a lover will not like it very much. He will demand new meetings, but how can I explain meetings to my husband? If the rights are granted, then what are the lessons? Besides, my husband knows that I drive well, and if not driving school, then what is the reason for meeting a lover? He won't just let me break out of the house every time. I don't work, I don't go anywhere. Shopping can also be calculated in which store you were in, what you bought. It's elementary to check, there are cameras everywhere. Then I am very confused and do not know what to do next.